Hello, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity to report progress on our Working Group 158, the Global Coordinated Research Assessment of Seagrass Systems, or C-GRASS. Very sorry that I can't join you at the meeting today or answer questions live, but please do feel free to contact me at the email in the lower left here. The vision of the Seagrass project was to advance us toward a rigorous dynamic picture of global seagrass status and trends, and to convene a global community of practice to get us there by building interoperable tools and priority variables for observation and data treatment. This has been the culmination of a very long process, which very briefly I will mention began in the early 1970s when seagrass ecologists first got together to attempt to coordinate and standardize what they were doing, progressed through the development of the framework on ocean observing, and then the launch of the Global Ocean Observing System, the development of the essential ocean variables. The biology EOVs took off in 2015 or so, and that has culminated in the process I'll describe today, which is aiming toward the yellow box in the upper right, a manuscript in progress that will describe the specifications, data format, and priority variables for the seagrass essential ocean variable. This kind of work obviously takes a village, a global village in this case, and we're very grateful for the support and the effort from many individuals and organizations throughout the world. So our approach really was fourfold, and I'll focus mostly on the first three of these where we have made the most progress. First is to develop the methods and the coordination necessary to make the observations, what we had formerly called best practices. Secondly, a data format, data schema for bringing those observations together. And then third, again, supporting the community throughout the world that is working to achieve those goals. The SCOR award was a major force in getting us moving on developing the seagrass EOV, and we're very thankful for that. The project began in the depth of the pandemic in late 2020. We had a virtual launch with about 30 participants from 12 countries, which I think shows the interest in these goals. And we had a number of plenary and working group meetings virtually after that. Culminating in 2 in-person workshops, we were able to convene the first in 2022 in association with the International Seagrass Biology Workshop in Annapolis in the USA, and the second this last summer in Napoli in Italy, where we had 13 participants from 7 countries. So the primary focus of all this work, again, is developing the seagrass essential ocean variable, which we are calling seagrass cover, species composition, and extent. The goal of doing that is, again, to achieve this coordinated research that brings us towards a dynamic global map of seagrass. So this work started before the SCOR award, most notably when a group of us got together to produce a white paper for the OceanObs 19 meeting in Honolulu, which brought some community consensus on how we might approach these problems and got us moving towards drafting the specifications. There is a hungry audience for this kind of information on the global extent of seagrass and other habitats from various directions, the most high profile perhaps being the Global Biodiversity Framework, the Kunming Montreal GBF, which was developed a few years ago, in which a headline indicator is the extent of natural ecosystems, and seagrasses are obviously one of those in the coastal zone with a lot of carbon sequestration potential among other ecosystem services. So how do we get there? To get to this dynamic picture, our best practices group honed in after much discussion and some contention on what we would think of as the minimum requirements or the priority variables for characterizing seagrass systems. And these include 3 of what in goose language are called the subvariables of the EOV. Aerial extent, usually obtained by remote sensing, and then 2 in situ measurements, percent cover, and species composition of the seagrasses. These 3 are complementary in that they give us different information, and in fact, the in situ data are often really critical in validating the remotely sensed seagrass measurements. Then, of course, there's a whole host of potential supporting variables, both biological in terms of physical structure, association with other biological EOVs, and also environmental variables, which we call supporting variables. Making the most of the observations that come from that framework requires synthesis, and that requires a common data format. So we are developing an EOV data schema for seagrass following Darwin core format and with the close participation of our OBIS colleagues, which is organized into 3 tables for upload to OBIS. All of this will be presented in the manuscript that is in progress now. So in terms of the future, the Seagrass project, this working group is coming to a close, but we are now in the final stages of the EOV specifications that are moving toward this manuscript, which we expect to submit by the end of the year, and we'll present all of the material that I've covered here. We also importantly have arranged with the World Seagrass Association to take this work forward by posting the open access manuscript and promoting and socializing these priority variables and data schemas to their community of practice, which is our community of practice. Importantly, WSA has also agreed to host workshops at the biennial International Seagrass Biology workshops going forward so that we can revisit and look at progress on how these the EOV is being taken up throughout the community and our advancing toward that global picture. So I feel we've made good progress, and I would like to say thank you to you all for listening, to SCOR for the support, and to the global seagrass community who have come together and worked really hard to find common ground on this work.